Patriot Prime Reviews is a channel for adult collectors and may not be suitable for children under 13 years of age. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Patriot Prime here once again with another Transformers review. But before I start talking about the subject of this review, I need you guys to do me a favor. If you're watching this video right here and have not subscribed to Patriot Prime Reviews, please hit that subscribe button right now. It won't cost you a thing, but will help me and my channel out tremendously. Now, on to the figure. And the bot we're looking at today is one I have been wanting to put in front of this camera for quite some time. Fans Hobby Double Evil. This is a gigantic third-party Overlord figure. Now, I have been infatuated with Overlord since the early 90s. I ordered a Transformer on eBay, and the seller included this little PVC Heroes of Cybertron figure that I had no idea who it was. And then upon research, discovered it was Overlord. So I'm trying to figure out who this figure is, why I never heard of him. I saw video reviews of him from reviewers such as the Collector 75, and I have always wanted one of those figures. In Generation 1, he's a giant city bot, just like Scorponok and Metroplex. You know, he would split in half. One half turns into a tank, the other half turned into a jet. He just always really appealed to me, but trying to find a Generation 1 figure, I mean, that price is up there. Then, of course, a few years ago, he made his comic book appearance in IDW's Last Stand of the Wreckers, where his popularity really shot up. And unfortunately, in the Titans Return line, we got a leader class version of Overlord finally here in the States that pretty much resembled his Generation 1 counterpart. Now, ironically, this Overlord, or rather the third-party accessories that I have on him, was my very first YouTube review. So if you want to check that out, I'm going to put a link right here. So enough of my history of Overlord. Let's get into this figure right here. Now, he comes in two boxes. The first box includes the tank. So you got a big picture of the tank here on the front, on the top, Fans Hobby on the side. On the bottom is nice artwork depicting the base mode. I really like how they use the toy itself in the artwork. On the back, you got the tank, the power pilot, and its different features and functions. The second box is a bigger one. This includes the jet, and you've got jet mode, Double Evil, or as I'm going to call him, Overlord in robot mode. Back of the box, robot mode, jet mode, base mode, and the power pilot. Bottom of the box, side of the box. And what's really cool, putting both boxes together, you've got a giant picture of Overlord here. Now, for those of you who watch the channel religiously, you know that I was at TFCon in October, and I bought the Fans Hobby, the Masterminds Creations Carnifex. And that was going to be my Overlord, but after taking him out and messing around with him a little bit, I just really didn't like him. And then I discovered this guy. So I ended up selling my Carnifex figure and used the money I got off of him. I made a decent profit, actually. And I bought this guy. And I bought him from Terry TF Club, which was highly recommended by Cato's Collection and Deluxe Baldwin. So I'm going to put a link to them down in the description of this video. With my first purchase, I end up getting 5% off and a $5 off coupon. So this guy costs a fraction of what he originally goes for. So I was very pleased with Terry TF Club. Very fast shipping. So enough of me going on and on about the figure. Let's go ahead and take a look at him. And just to warn you, this is going to be a long review. You might as well get that popcorn ready. And welcome to Patriot Prime Reviews. Now, once you get Double Evil's tank component all opened and out of the packaging, you'll see he comes with an instruction booklet, and I really like how this is laid out. You've got actual black and white pictures of the toy with the pieces and parts you need to move highlighted in pink with blue arrows showing the direction they go. So that is really cool. This booklet goes over how to transform tank mode and how to transform into base mode. Also in the back is a sticker manual, because this set also comes with a decal sheet. And you know how I love decals. So yes, I'll probably be applying these. Now the bottom layer is for Double Evil, and this top section is decals for Power Baser, which is another Fans Hobby figure, and you do get a black and white instruction booklet on where those decals go. So if you happen to have this figure, that's a nice little bonus for you. The tank also comes with a Power Pilot figure, or as we call them, Power Masters. And this is a very well done little figure. I love the face sculpt. It's got nice evil painted eyes, great articulation. The arms can almost do a complete 360, but they get caught up there on the backpack. He's got a slight elbow bend, and the legs can go up and down, and there is a knee bend. So, pretty cool little figure. I dig it. Love the back. Beautiful chrome back there. Really, really sharp. Now let's take a look at the tank itself. This is called the Power Tank, and this thing is awesome. It's big, it's beefy, it's heavy. Now the turret can rotate, but can only rotate about 180 degrees. It's going to stop right there. It's got really nice ratchets. The barrel can go up and down, so that's cool. Molded grenade launchers here on the side, and a little hidden compartment right here. Flip that up. There are mortars. And what's cool about this, there's actually little mortars inside. Let me check that out. Hopefully I'll focus in for you. Little teeny tiny mortars that go in the mortar launcher. So nice cool little addition, but you got to be very careful with that. You don't want to be losing those. This is on a double hinge. You kind of bring up, fold down, and it folds right back inside the tank. Now the tank itself has real working treads, or rubber working treads, but man, they are tight. I mean, I can barely get those to go around, so if you have him on the ground and you're going to roll around, you're going to pretend. But really, really cool. Underneath the tank, very, very clean and uniformed. And what's cool, this green section right here, this is the ramp to base mode. And there is the giant robot's gun right there. One of the really cool things about this figure, all the pieces and parts can store within the components. You really don't have to put anything in storage bags like some of the old G1 bases. Now, right here, there is a cockpit. Open this up. And if we can focus in, I am really impressed with this. See if I can get my light in here. This right here is stainless steel. Let me get this out of the way. That is etched stainless steel right here on the sides for those decals or details. This is etched stainless steel right here on the control panel. I mean, that is so cool. I mean, that's a little something they really didn't have to add to the figure, but really adds to it. I mean, I dig it. Also, you got the steering wheel that actually turns. How cool is that? So you can take your Power Pilot figure, get him in sitting position here, bring the arms up. And now you can have him driving the power tank off to battle. Now for some quick size comparisons. Here is Fans Hobby Double Evil tank component with Titan's Return Overlord tank component, War for Cybertron Siege Skytreads tank component, and Generation 2 Megatron. And there you have it, Fans Hobby Double Evil's tank component. Now let's move on to the even more impressive jet component. Now, once you get Double Evil's jet component all open and out of the packaging, you'll see that this also comes with an instruction booklet, and it's set up exactly the same way as the other. You've got black and white pictures of the toy itself with collared in versions of the pieces and parts that you're going to use for transformation. This booklet goes over robot mode, features of robot mode, and how to transform into jet mode. It also comes with a bio card. Haven't seen one of these for a while. You've got a nice shot of Double Evil, aka Overlord, there on the front, and his stats on the back with the jet component and power tank component. Really, really cool. The jet also comes with a power pilot as well. I really like this one. I love the colors on this one opposed to the other. He's got that nice teal and gold look. Great face sculpt. And he's a completely different mold than the other power pilot. There we go. So there they both are together. They look really good. They both have the exact same articulation, so I'm not going to go over that. Now for a little size comparison though, here is a Double Evil Power Pilot with a War for Cybertron Siege Battle Master and a Titan's Return Titan Master. So little size difference right there. Now let's take a look at this beautiful jet mode. I love this thing. This is awesome. When I first transformed this jet, I immediately thought of a G.I. Joe Cobra Night Raven. And this thing is huge. I don't know if you can tell, but I had to set my camera up on a tripod shooting down on my viewing area or reviewing area because I can't fit the whole thing in shot with a regular angle. But yeah, this thing is massive. Lots and lots of molded detail. A beautiful jet mode. Of course, flip it under. You can see the Overlord chest right there. He does have landing gear. You got 2 here on the back and 1 up here in the front, and it folds away really neat. You fold it up, and then there's little doors shut. Now the landing gear here on the back, in order to get it to fold away, you have to take this section over, open this little door, and then fold it in. Now I'll go over that here in a moment because we will shut that landing gear up in order to transform to base mode. And this landing gear here is kind of a pain to get out, but it's really nice. It locks right into place. But yeah, this is a beautiful, beefy jet. Multiple thrusters on the back. Underneath, he does have missiles. He's got 4 different missiles that attach underneath the wings. Man, this is hard to get in frame. Now the missiles, they just peg in. See the little slots in the wings? They just peg in with the fins on the missiles. Or on, the fins on the wings. Excuse me, getting all tongue-tied. And they're kind of tricky to get to stay in position. But once you get them in, I mean, they're on there. Well, except for that one. Flipping back around. Not a big fan of the missiles. Well, let's take a closer look at them. They are nicely painted. The tip silver and the rest of the missile is black. See if I can get that back on there. But yeah, there you go. Now, I haven't put the missiles on yet. I just put them on for this review. Also here on top, he's got this double cannon. Now, this can move up and down slightly, facing forward. You can turn around and have it face backwards. The barrels also extend out, but that's more for the base mode. Now, what's really cool about this, I just discovered earlier, is, let's pop this off. The handle rotates. That way you can rotate it on the plane, and the handle also extends because I was facing mine back, and I like how this is more streamlined and aerodynamic, but when you try to turn around to the front, I didn't like how it angled up. But I discovered you can actually take the handle and extend the handle slightly, put that in position, and now it's more flush against the plane. So I really dig that. Now let's take a look at the cockpit. Let me see if I can get this just right, get it to focus. Just like the power tank, you can open up the cockpit, and there's a lot of nice molded details inside. And just like the power tank, those are stainless steel etched details there on the side and on the front. I don't know if I can get that angled, but stainless steel decals, not decals, details right there by the steering wheel. Plus, this seat looks a lot more comfortable than the tank. Looks like he's got some padding right there. Now, of course, you can take, dropping figures all over the place, you can take your power pilot, get him in position here. Got to get him just right. Canopy will snap in place. And now you can have your power pilot take the double evil jet component off to the skies to fight some Autobots. And now for some quick size comparisons. Here is Fans Hobby's double evil jet component with Titan's Return Overlord jet component, War for Cybertron Siege Skytreads jet component, and War for Cybertron Siege Jetfire. Man, that's a lot of jet in that screen. And there you have it. Fans Hobby Double Evil's jet component. Now, let's get him into base mode. Now, to transform Double Evil into his base mode, I'm going to start with the power tank first. Now, the first thing you're going to do with him is make sure that the turret is lined up straight with the rest of the vehicle. Flip him over, and you're going to take this green section here and remove. As I said earlier, that is the ramp for base mode. Put that out of the way. Right here, as I said earlier, once again, that is Double Evil's large gun. So we'll go ahead and pop that out. That simply attaches. There's a peg right there on that tread that locks into the barrel of the gun. So that's how that stores. Now that we have those pieces out, we're going to split the tank right down the middle. There we go. Now we're going to take this section right here, the left side, take the barrel and fold it up into the turret of the tank. Now you're going to pop the turret up, and it is actually on a slider. So you're going to slide this section down, and right here, you're going to flip this panel up and over and bring that section out right there. Now, this is kind of the tricky part. You have to match this peg into that slot. So let's get this up and around. There's a lot of tabbing just right with this figure. So there we go. I've got that locked in place. Flip the tank over once again. You want to make sure everything's locked in place. There are these little feet right here. You're going to flip these up. Those are stabilizers for the base. And now, right here, there's a little section. Open this up, and there you have a radar dish for base mode. Just pop that out, shut that up, and that completes the left side. As I said earlier, I love how all of the different pieces and parts and components can hide within the figure itself. Now, pretty much the right side transforms exactly the same as the left, but I do want to show you here. Open this section up, and there is another radar hidden on this section. So now let's move on to the jet. Now, to transform the jet component into the base mode, what we're going to do is remove the double barrel cannon from the top of the jet first. And now, see this little button right here? We're going to press this down and hopefully get this unlocked and remove this whole front section of the jet. And we'll go ahead and fold up that piece of landing gear and put this off to the side. Now we're going to take the main section of the jet and unpeg these white sections from the main body. Now when you unpeg this one on this side, open it out, you have this little crane arm that pegs in. So this is used for base mode, another piece of the base that is stored within the figure itself. Now, rotate these up, just like so. You've got the landing gear here that I talked about earlier. There's a little door. Open these up, fold the landing gear up, and get that lined up just right. Just right. Come on now. There we go. Same on the other side. Open the door. Flip the landing gear around. Yeah, that side was perfect. So now you've got this going on. Take the wings. Fold the wing. There's a tab right there that goes into that slot. Pegs in and folds along. Same on the other side. There we go. Underneath the jet, right here by the thrusters, flip this down. That's actually a support. These here, these cones on the back, I love this. They're spring-loaded. So those are your 3 supports. 1, 2, and 3. So you've got that down like so. Now you're going to bring in the front of the jet, and see it's got these pegs right here. You're going to line those up with the pegs right there. Move these back slightly. Peg that in. Nice secure fit. And now there's pegs right there that are going to match up to the ones on the white towers. There's one. See if you can see that a little better this time. Peg right there will match up to that slot. Get that pegged in. There we go. Get that secured. This whole thing is just a matter of getting it tabbed in just right. There we go. Now from here, you're going to unpeg the rear of the jet and flip this up, and underneath you're going to see these little green ramps. You want to bring those out. They are actually unfold twice, so you've got that going on. Get the other one. There we go, and then just fold that back into place. Make sure all the tabs line up. Now we're going to bring in our tank components, and there's a little tab on the bottom of these ramps that'll fit into this slot right here. So there is one attached. And bring in the second half. There we go. Take the large ramp that was underneath the tank. There's a little slot right there that this is going to peg into. Make sure everything is tabbed in. Now we're going to take the 2 radar dishes from earlier, and they peg in right there in the jet thrusters. Take the double barrel cannon, extend the barrels, and this will peg in right here on the front of the base. Like so. The purple Overlord gun, you're going to extend this out, and a second time, flip the handle down. And what's cool about this little section right here at the bottom rotates. That is so you can peg it in right here. For a secondary cannon on front of the base. Over here you can flip up the mortars. One more thing. If you open this section up right here below the cockpit, this reveals another cannon. Just bring that forward, fold a handle back, and extend the barrels. Now we have Overlord's base mode complete. And this thing is massive. And it's not really bad for a base mode. I mean, most base modes are just very secondary, tapped on. This thing actually looks like it could have some function to it. Of course, you can take the power pilots. You can put one up here manning that cannon. You can have another one down here manning this cannon. He can sit inside the cockpit of the tank. But yeah, really cool base. Oh, forgot something else. Right here, this little peg we flipped out, this is where the crane arm goes. So that can go up and down, moves around, and the claw pinches in and out. Really, really cool looking base. And of course there, we'll put a Battle Master there for scale. There's another one. Put him down here. Not bad. Not bad at all. You've got the mortar launchers, the double barrel cannon, single barrel cannon, cannons up here. Cannons everywhere. I wish I could get that in frame right. But that thing is huge. Now let's get Double Evil transformed into robot mode. Now, of course, the first thing we're going to do is take all of the pieces and parts off the base mode. And speaking of pieces and parts, I forgot to show you, you can take these missiles that were on jet mode and attach them back here on where the wings were. So there was an option for you I forgot about, so I'm sorry. So we'll take off the purple blaster, the double barrel blaster, the claw. Let's drop the mortar back into place, and we remove the radar dishes. Now we separate the tank halves from the jet half, or the jet piece, and remove this ramp. So now let's get into the transformation into robot mode. Now the power tank is what forms Double Evil's legs, and since they were attached to the base mode, we're halfway there, pun intended. So let's go ahead and we'll transform the left leg first. Both halves transform practically the same way. So the first thing we're going to do is unpeg the turret from the pegs here. We're going to take this little notch, fold that back in, and then flip this panel over. On the turret itself, there's a little notch right here you're going to grab and fold this section down. So you've got that going on. Over here on the side, we're going to unpeg this and the back tread section. This will fold down along, actually we'll fold the turret along the side first and just kind of leave that hanging there for now. This green section, you're going to fold this half, or this section here, up and flush on the inside, bringing this up like so. Now you're going to take the turret and slide all the way down. This part will now fold down and fit flush against the tank section. Now we're going to take this green part, flip out here, up, fold back down, like so. It's on a double hinge, and then that will peg right there. So now we have this going on. Flipping the tank over, you're going to fold back these little feet that were used in base mode. This purple section here, you are going to flip out. And sometimes that can be difficult. So there we go. This will form the robot's feet. So you're going to flip this up and around, nice ratchets. Give it a twist all the way forward. Take this part here, flip around. That'll lock into place. Flip out what's going to be the heel spur. And right here, if I can get it, that is the robot toe. So flip that out, and you've got that going on. Right here, mine already popped out, but that's a little section that just adds a little bit of width to the foot. So now we have the foot out. Now you're going to take the the turret, fold it back, and this little section we flipped out, make sure these pegs match up to the slots there on the green shin. So get those locked in. Like I said, the biggest issue with this figure is making sure everything gets slotted in accordingly. Some things are easier than others. Now, once you've got that pegged in, flip back around, take this section here, and you're going to slide to the middle. At the same time, you're pushing in with the treads. So those will go in, lock in place, and just get this slid over. And of course, those unpeg again. There we go. It went in a lot easier that time. Everything should peg in. There we go. And lock into place nice and firm. So right here, I was wrong. I thought this was the left leg. This is now going to be the right. This section transforms exactly the same way, so I'm going to skip over it and we'll go straight to the jet. Now, the first thing we're going to do with jet mode is let's go ahead and collapse this blaster back in. So we'll just fold that up, fold it back, and put it back in the nose cone of the jet. Go ahead and turn this around and unpeg the nose cone from the main body. We're done with this. Let's go ahead and put this to the side. Now we're going to take the jet, flip up the back section here. Actually pegs in really tight. Pop that up. Take these ramps and double fold them in and get them back inside. Up, and you have to fold this kind of a weird way. There's a notch right here, so you want to get that gap over the notch, then fold this section in. So there we go. We have that all folded up. Now you're going to take this section, the back flap. It's on a double hinge, so make sure this folds all the way up. You want to get this back section flush against this right here. And it is really tight. One of those double hinges I'd mentioned earlier that's so easy to miss. So there we go. We want that section perfectly lined up with the back. And we'll go ahead and fold these wings, tail fins over like so. Get that up out of the way. For now, actually, line that up. And yeah, we'll just get that out of the way for now. Next thing is these sections here, which are the arms. Just get those down. We'll go ahead and work this arm first. Move the wing out of the way, and you're looking for this section right here. What you're going to do is take your thumbnail, right here at the end. So you got this little gray section. You want to reach in and lift up. This is a hook. So you lift up and slide this section back. Let me show you again over here. Move the wing out of the way. It's this section right here. It locks in there. So you want to lift up slightly. See the lock? Push that back. So that releases the elbow. Let's go ahead and turn Overlord's head around, or Double Evil. I'm going to be calling him Overlord. Now, where are we? Right here where this thruster is, pull this up and flip the robot fist out. There we go. Now you're going to take this thruster, pull it down, and then rotate it. Rotate it around. It'll stop. You can actually see when you rotate it this way, there's a peg that goes in this slot for jet mode. When you pull it down, rotate around, it'll stop. Fold that in, fold this back down, and now you have Double Evil's fist. So we've got one arm coming along nice and slow. Bring this section down. That'll fold and lock into place here. And now what we're going to do is take this whole section and bring it up. This little cone is going to maneuver out of the way, but you're going to bring this up nice and ratchety. I love it. So there we have one arm complete after we snap the wings back in place. So there's one arm. Other side, same deal. Take this section here and just flip up. Whoops, forgot right here. You got to make sure and fold that down. Flip that up. Cone will go out of the way. Flip around. Open this section for the fists. Rotate the thruster. Get the fist out. Thruster in, close that up. There we go. Take the wings, lock in place. There we go. Nice and tight. Now inside the shoulder is a little panel you can flip down. This kind of fills that shoulder area out. Do that on the other side. Take these cones. You're going to rotate those around, and they'll actually notch. There's a little notch right there that they'll fit in. Flip around, and there we go. And there you have Overlord's body. Now let's get his legs attached. Here I have both halves of the power tank in leg mode. We'll grab Overlord's body, and the thrusters from the jet mode are going to slide right into that hole right there. And they will lock in place. They lock really good. They're not coming out. The only way to get them out, there's a little button right here. You have to push that to release the leg. So there's one, and then there's two. We'll go ahead and get him stood up. Get this little section here. Hey, he looks excited. That's from base mode. Fold that back down and under. Turn him around. We still got to clean up the back. On the back of Overlord, you're going to take these little side panels here. You're going to fold these in on both sides. Bring this up. There's little notches right here. That's going to coincide with those slots there. Bring that up and lock in place. Now, there is storage on his back for the ramp. Let me get him out of the way here. Here is the ramp from base mode. All you do is pull this apart, put that to the side, and then fold this in half, like so. You've got two notches right here, and underneath his back, right there, is where this will go. So they slot in nice and tight. Next, you're going to take the double barrel cannon that was on base mode. Go ahead and collapse the barrels in all the way. There's a hole right there that this will fit into. Actually, let me get these fins out of the way. Slide that in, angle straight up, and there we go. Fold that fin back. And there is Overlord's robot mode. This figure is huge. Now, to give Overlord his weaponry, you're going to take the purple gun that was also on base mode. Make sure this little notch right here is flush with the handle, and then fold the clip down. He's got a really cool way to hold this gun. Let me bring him over here. Inside the hands, you see a little track that goes along with this notch right here along the entire handle. To hold the gun, you just simply slide that notch in the track of his hand, slide that down, wrap the fingers around. Of course, I make it look like he's got a trigger. Fold the thumb in, and there's Overlord holding his weapon. That is a really cool way for a figure to hold a gun. It's not going anywhere. I love that. That's really, really cool. Go ahead and get back here, big boy. Now you're going to take the nose cone of the jet, flip this over, and open up these panels here. Take the crane arm that was on the base. You actually fold it up to look like this, and there's a little hole in the end that will peg into that hole right there. So go ahead and get that in place. Now the final ramp piece that we took off just a second ago, it'll actually notch into these sections right here. And there you go. As I said earlier, there is all the parts and pieces stored within the figure. Now there's a couple different ways to utilize this nose cone. Right here, flip this out, and there you have a handle for a shield, and it has the same notch that the gun has that you can slide into his hand here. Now I'm not going to do it save a little bit of time for you guys. I don't like the looks of him holding the shield like that. I prefer it up on his shoulder, just like G1. So bring the bot over. He's got these notches right here on either side of the shoulder. Now there is an option here on the inside. Flip this down. There's like a secondary stabilization arm, but you really don't need that. And that section keeps flying up. Take the front of the plane and just simply, it's got the slots right there, and get it over the end. If I can do it. There we go. And once that's on, that is secure. It's not going anywhere. Lastly, you can take these 4 missiles, and they can actually slot into these notches right here on his back. Now, I'm not a big fan of those because, as I said earlier, in jet and base mode, they just fall off way too easy. So these are the one item that may stay in storage. Double Evil's robot mode carries over a cool gimmick from the Generation 1 toy. Remember the power pilots here? They can actually transform into engines that plug into the figure to activate features. Now to transform these guys, line their arms up straight. You're going to rotate the leg around, make sure the fist of the figure goes in the little slot there in the leg. Fold that up. Get the notch lined up. Same as the other side. Flip him around, and now he's a beautifully gold-chromed engine. You're going to open this flap right here. Move this little black section back, and then he will slide right into place. Now take this little black notch, fold that back, and that will hold the power pilot there in place. Same thing with the other one. Fold him down, get him straight. Open this section here. Move the tab out of the way. And hold him in place. So there you go. Now the gimmick came up a little closer. If you push the pilots in, it'll activate that spring-loaded weaponry. You've got a double-barrel cannon here and a rocket launcher. Now something I discovered earlier with this rocket launcher, these little rockets actually come out. Like right here, I noticed because when it popped out, I had one sticking out farther than the other. You pull that out, and he's got these little teeny tiny rockets. And at first, I thought maybe I broke the toy, but upon closer inspection, you can actually see the fins for the rocket. So yeah, you got these little super tiny, I don't even know if that's going to focus. Come on. But you get the idea. These super teeny tiny rockets that go in this launcher. And it's not a fluke. Every one of them can come out. So that's something you want to be very cautious for. I mean, they're in there pretty tight, but you want to watch for that because in jet mode, his chest faces down. So there you've got the power pilots all in place. You can either display him like so, or the doors can shut back, hiding them from sight. Now, just in case you haven't noticed, Double Evil is huge. I have tried my best to get him all within frame. It's not going to happen, so please work with me. So let's take a look at this awesome robot mode. First off, the head sculpt. I love this head sculpt. It is so awesome, so G1. Those red eyes just pop. I mean, they catch the light just right. Plus, the face sculpt is great. Great paint applications. He's on a ball joint, a very tight ball joint, so the head can do a complete 360, and his neck is on a hinge, so he can look up and down. Arms can do a complete 360 as well. They're on very nice, tight, ratchety joints. Arms can go up. Also, these cones, as I mentioned earlier, can rotate and move out of the way to allow for different positions. The arm's also on a hinge, so it can go up. There is a elbow rotation, and the elbows themselves are on double ratchet joints, so you can really bring those elbows up if you so choose. There's also a, I don't want to say ab crunch, it's more of a chest crunch. So you've got that going on. You push these launchers back in, you can get a little bit more range of motion. He's got a waist rotation. Down here, he's got these little hip flaps that can move out of the way to get the legs. The legs can only go that far out, but they can go back and forth on nice, tight, ratchety joints. And he's got a very nice knee bend. Actually, it's a double knee bend, so you can really get some poses with that. Moving on up, the feet do have an ankle tilt, and they can move up and down on very nice, tight ratchets. But the feet are the one issue with this figure. He's huge, he's massive, and he's heavy. I can actually feel my arms straining holding this guy. As a result, I wish these feet were wider. They're very narrow. And this guy, if I just, well, he stood up right there, but if you try to keep him straight, I mean, he easily topples back. He's way, way top heavy. I mean, this torso section weighs so much more than the tank section right there. But he looks really, really good. I can't complain at all about the looks of the figure. Now, he also has great hand and finger articulation. The wrist is on a very tight swivel. The thumb is on a ball joint, and it has a joint there on the thumb itself. All the fingers are individually jointed. They have 1, 2, 3 joints on them, so you can get some neat poses. You can even do the old, let me see here, rock and roll fingers. So yeah, this is a very cool figure. I've got no issues at all. The fact that I traded off my Carnifex for this guy. This guy is so much more G1, and that's what appeals to me. And now for some quick size comparisons. Here is Fans Hobby Double Evil with Generation 1 Optimus Prime, Titans Return Overlord, and War for Cybertron Siege Jetfire. Fans Hobby Double Evil is a fantastic figure. I have had an absolute blast messing around with him for the last couple of days. The transformation is not that bad once you get used to it. He's got great articulation, great sculpting, great collaring. I mean, I love this guy. My biggest complaint is his stability. Those purple feet of his needed to be wider. He is a big, heavy figure, and you really don't want something like this toppling over. Now, once you do get him in position, once you find one that actually works, he will stay. I haven't had him fall over yet, only when I'm actually messing with him. So there you go, guys. Fans Hobby Double Evil, aka Overlord. So, does a Fans Hobby Double Evil belong in your collection? This is one for the hardcore collectors or Overlord fans only. This is a massive figure. I believe he's going to have a permanent home here on the corner of this desk until I can do something with my display back there. Plus, he's a little costly. Now, granted, I only paid about $20 more than what you would pay for a Siege Omega Supreme, so I'm really not that disappointed with what I paid for him. Plus, you get a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, one, he's a huge figure. He actually comes with the 2 Power Master figures that Carnifex did not come with. I think you had to buy them extra for Carnifex. All his little gimmicks and gadgets, and he's just so G1. Now, granted, my big complaint with him is the feet. These teeny tiny thin feet have such a hard time holding up this figure. Now, granted, in review, I forgot to point out, he does have little rubber stoppers right there and there on the front and back of the foot that kind of keep him from sliding, but still, he's kind of hard to make sure he stays in place without falling over. Now, guys, I want to thank you for stopping by and checking out my video. Don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. I've got a lot more robots I want to get in front of this camera, a whole wall of G1s I've yet to go over, plus all the new modern figures coming out. Guys, once again, I appreciate each and every one of you. This is Patriot Prime signing out. Hello!